Ahoy there, listeners, and welcome to another episode of the Captain's Horror Meltdown. My name is Cammy, and I'll be your captain on this journey, and I'm joined, as always, by... Now, you've been in this before, actually, John.
What? Oh, you're not recycling jobs, are you?
I think I am.
This is disappointing.
Well, no, you're not. I'm not. I've got another one. You're the ship's. You're the ship's pharmacist.
The ship's.
I was going to make you the ship's surgeon, but you're going to be the ship's pharmacist.
Okay.
So it's your job to make up any medicines or drugs that we need.
Wow, that's an advanced role on a two-man ship.
Yes, it is quite an advanced role, but it's because I got a really bad rash today, and I need some antihistamines.
Did you touch?
If you'd sort me out with that, please.
Did you touch a horse?
I touched a... You're not going to believe this.
You're going to say a goose?
A goat.
You touched a goat. Oh, you've got previous with goats as well.
Yeah, I know. Jesus. So yeah, I so I'm joined as always by John, and we are on a mission to sail the high seas of horror and report back on it.
What would I prescribe you for a goat rash? Oh, it's my job, I suppose, I guess.
Yeah, you need to work it out. I would say...
Have you tried cider?
No, I don't have any cider, though. I do have an ale. There's an ale in the fridge, so I may be able to have an ale.
What kind of ale?
Midnight Sun.
Oh, Midnight Sun is an ale that is actually proven to cure any ailment.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Oh my God! Ay.
I'll put that one back in the file. Sorry about that.
It's a classic. So, well, we're sailing onwards and upwards with the latest link in the chain today. But I've got a little update on the last episode.
All right, what was that?
Yeah. I bought a vampire motorcycle. Well, the last one in the chain, anyway.
Oh yeah, sorry. Just as we speak, it's not actually been out yet, so I got confused.
It's not. No. Well, but by the time our listeners listen to this, it will have been out.
I hope so. Otherwise, I've missed one out.
I have some very bizarre news.
Oh,
which you know
of course.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to this. Come on, bring it.
So, for the listeners, I live in a very, very small village in Scotland.
Oh, how many folk do you reckon live there?
Apparently, there's about 1,500.
1,500, okay.
Yeah, quite small town.
It's very small,
yeah, very small town. And there is a monthly musical event called St Boswell's Live. The village is called St Boswell's. It's run by my neighbour Grim, and it's generally interesting. Lots of really interesting acts. Very different type of music every month. You know.
Could do you reckon he could get Marillion?
I reckon he probably could.
Yes, I've totally come down for that.
Well, they had what is the name of the band that Kat really likes and her pal was in? Scottish band from Selkirk as well.
Oh, a Frightened Rabbit.
Frightened Rabbit
Yeah.
did it.
Oh wow, amazing.
Yeah, totally. And I've seen a couple of rock bands there. A band called Willie and the Bandits, who were awesome. Quite sort of rednecky. Good name.
I'm a big fan of Willy Bandits.
Yeah. So yeah, there's lots of different stuff goes on, and I happened to be checking the newspaper listings, and it said there was a chap called Dean Friedman playing, and I was like, oh, Dean Friedman, I've never heard of him before. Looked him up. Oh yeah, singer-songwriter, great. Had a look to see online what he'd done, and turns out he did the soundtrack for I Bought a Vampire Motorcycle.
It's unbelievable.
It is insane. Absolutely insane. So I had to go. And I went.
What was the experience, man?
It was amazing. It's quite a character. It's quite sort of folky, American folk, singer-songwriter, playing the guitar.
Because he's an American chap, isn't he? Because I remember
he's American. Yeah,
I remember the chat. I do remember them talking about an American guy doing the soundtrack for it.
Yeah, totally.
But he did Boone as well.
He did Boone as well. He did the soundtrack for Boone as well.
Wow.
And he happened to be doing Boone, and then he did I Bought a Vampire Motorcycle, obviously because of the link with Boone. So yeah, I went to see him. he's obviously been, he's been playing for 40 odd years.
Yeah.
Absolute professional, like proper, just man on the stage with a guitar, sings a song, talks a bit about it, has a wee story to tell.
Nice.
Bit of a raconteur, very chilled out. And I drank quite a lot of Weston's Vintage Reserve.
Yes, I believe you went back to bed halfway through the day.
The next day I did have to go back to bed. Well, it was because I also drank some Deadly Cider that you left in the fridge as well.
Well, you could have left it alone.
I could have left it alone, but I didn't. Come on. No. I didn't at all, no. And at the end, I was introduced to him at the end by Graham, and he was quite flabbergasted.
Oh, really?
He'd been pre-warned. Graham had said to him, I was speaking to my neighbour, and he knows your work from I Bought a Vampire Motorcycle. It was a lot of the crowd were sort of hanging around to chat to him and buy. He was selling vinyl, actually, at the end. So I thought, you got to support the artist, don't you? So I was like, I'm going to go and buy some vinyl. So I bought some vinyl. I had a very brief chat with him about it. And he said, I'm going to get in touch with him again. He said to send him an email about it, but I asked him what the experience was like. It was quite busy. There was lots of people there as well. So I was like, I didn't want to take up too much of his time. I asked him what the experience of making it was like. And he said it was quite bizarre. And that he was basically having to pick up rushes that were getting sent over by plane from Birmingham to LaGuardia Airport in New York.
Right.
And then take them back, record the music, and then send the music back as well.
Jesus.
Quite insane. I bought a Vampire Motorcycle.
Could we get him on the podcast, do you reckon? Is that feasible?
I reckon we might be able to.
Oh, yes.
I'll send him a wee email and find out what the crack is. What a character, though, man. And what a bizarre coincidence. Utterly bizarre coincidence.
I mean, when you messaged that, I was like, this... It's like an impossible dream.
What was going on? How did these things happen? Anyway, it was a great night, and I would thoroughly recommend if anyone sees Dean Friedman on the billing anywhere. Apparently, he plays at the festival every year, and that's part of the reason he was down, because he was tempted to come down and play an extra gig.
Right, okay.
Yeah, well worth seeing, and his music was great as well. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Lots of fun.
Lovely.
But so there you go, Dean Friedman, check him out. But our next film in the chain is, and the link is The Year.
Yep, 10 years, but decent.
1990, another film from 1990. So we watched I Bought a Vampire Motorcycle, low budget comedy horror, and we've moved on to another low budget comedy horror, but from across the pond in New York.
Yeah. Oh, there's a few more links here, actually.
Well, we were watching Frankenhooker by Frank Henenlotter.
Oh, what a god.
Absolutely. We are actually both very excited that we've managed to, however many episodes in we are, that we've finally managed to get around to a Frank Henenlotter film.
Yeah, I think the danger is, certainly from me, is not to insist on doing all of Frank Henenlotter's films after this.
The discussion's already started on this, isn't it? And we know that we've got a tough decision coming up for the next film.
That's huge. I think we decided we're going to do one more, and it's going to be a horrible decision. Really horrible.
It's either that or we jump out of Frank Henenlotter and try and work our way back in. But I think since we're here, we've got to. Yeah,
since we're sitting in Frank's lap, we may as well stroke the thigh and get another one out.
Yeah, we might as well. Oh, I'd love to get Frank on the pod.
Oh man. Oh.
But you've actually met Frank, haven't you?
I have. We'll get into that later.
We'll get into that. Frankenhooker, 1990, directed by Frank Henenlotter. I'll give you a little synopsis. This is a film both of us have seen multiple times, but I will give a synopsis for anyone that's listening. And as always, it's going to be spoilerific. So
yes,
if you haven't seen Frankenhooker and you're listening to this, again, what are you doing? And just go and watch it.
Do yourself a favour, get it watched, come back, and then listen to it again. And I'm sure you get a whole new perspective from it.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we go. I'm going with the letterbox summary here.
Okay, cool.
And it starts with its tagline, which is quite wild. And I remember from the time, a terrifying tale of sluts and bolts.
Yes, which is on the front of the
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray that we watched.
Yeah, absolutely. So synopsis being: a medical school dropout loses his fiancée in a tragic lawnmower incident and decides to bring her back to life. Unfortunately, he was only able to save her head, so he goes to the red light district in the city and lures prostitutes into a hotel room so he can collect body parts to reassemble her. That's pretty on the head, isn't it?
It is. It's an odd concept, but there it is. There's no question.
It's quite wild. And I think before we get into the film, actually, it might be worth talking about the concept.
Yeah.
And we'll obviously get around to the extras on this disc, of which there are many. Little sneak preview. This is an amazing package.
Yeah, I think what you're going to say, it really stuck in my mind, is like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like Frank Henenlotter in that documentary talks, in the main documentary on it, talks about how he came to make Frankenhooker, and he basically had gone in to pitch another film. Is that right? He's gone in to pitch,
I
and
think
then he
someone
started
just said, like,
just
what else have you
making
got?
it up.
What else have you got?
Well, yeah,
and
what
he
else
was
have
like,
you
he's
got?
like, right, and he just literally made up the entire plot on the spot. And it just kept getting more and more out of control. The guy was like, what? What's this? What?
Totally. And the producer then just said, yeah, I'll take it. And then he says that he ended up out on the street. Just where it was James Glickenhaus, wasn't it? That was the producer.
Yeah.
He said he just ended up on the street going, what the fuck did I just pitch? And how the hell am I going to do it? So, yeah, what we're talking about here, we are talking about a very low budget. Low budget,
Actually,
certainly.
not entirely.
Very well done.
I mean, well, it depends who you listen to. I mean,
well,
online they're saying 2.5.
Probably.
If you're looking at some of the interviews, they're saying 5. That's million people.
Shit.
Which
so
I
actually,
find hard to
not that
believe.
low budget back then. Yeah.
There's no way. 5 million. No, God, no, surely not.
And people would. I guess people would be probably more familiar with Frank Henenlotter for the Basket Case series.
Yep, definitely. Yep.
I would say I was going to say him for Brain Damage as well, but I reckon Frankenhooker is probably better known than
I would kind of say,
Damage.
like, I think most people will be aware of the Basket Case trilogy.
Yeah.
And so that's your man Frank. You probably won't be aware if you directed it. A lot of folk, unless you're actually really into
true.
it.
That's true.
But if you're a horror fan, I guess you will have seen it at some point. But yes, Frank Henenlotter is your man. What a name!
Absolutely.
As well.
Oh yeah, it's a totally classic. I know he's a proper old school grindhouse director, I guess. Who also is like a massive source of information on the actual grindhouse scene in New York. He was he lived it. He was a fan of it all. Loved those cinemas. Loved the films, and it shows in his films. I think
it absolutely does.
Absolutely,
can't argue.
Brilliant.
I mean, like his films are just like so far out there. And there's actually obviously it was Glickenhaus that did the production, and there is a book out there which I have. Which if you're into it, get involved. There's some interviews with Frank in there as well.
Nice.
It's a very flimsy. It's very thick yet flimsy, strange combination. But yeah, if you're interested in like what was going on in those wild days, totally recommend pick it up. I can't remember the exact name of it, but if you type Glickenhaus book, you'll find it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I need to try and check that out. Actually,
it's good. For me, it was a day one purchase, and only once because Frank was interviewed in it, and I'm a big fan of Frank.
Oh yeah. God, well, who's not a big fan of Frank? He's an absolute legend.
Idiots, just
absolute
idiots.
Yeah. So, what is your history with this film? 1990. We were both young teenagers at the time.
Yeah.
We were both very into horror. I would say this is the sort of birth of the real birth of really digging into.
I would say so.
Around this age.
13, 14 years old, absolutely.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure that I saw it at the time, but I don't Did I see it at the time? I think I maybe saw it later on. I think maybe I saw it by the time I'd left home.
I'm going to say I don't think I did.
I think
very
I remember seeing the
easy to
sleeve
get confused
of it.
with like Hollywood chainsaw hookers or whatever, but so,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I do remember seeing Basket Case and Brain Damage, but for me, certainly the last 5 years, 5-6 years has been a kind of a bit longer maybe. Has been a kind of reintroduction into his work. I am almost convinced I don't think I saw it back in the day.
And you didn't? Did you not see it on until you saw the Blu Ray? Then do you think?
Quite potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Bear in mind the Blu Ray's been out for I think it's like 2011 now. So
yeah, it's an old one for Blu Ray, isn't it?
It is, and I'm fairly sure it might have been I might have glanced upon it at some point, but the only Frank things that I really remember back in the day was Basket Case and Brain Damage especially.
Yeah, I didn't really see Brain Damage at the time, but I did. I'm pretty sure I saw Basket Case on Movie Room or something similar. One of those late night BBC Two or Channel 4 sort of cult film series. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I certainly this is I have actually watched Frankenhooker a couple of times recently, but yeah, it's one of those films that I think that in my head I recall seeing, but actually I probably just recall seeing the sleeve in the video shops.
Yeah, I kind of think so. I think you might be right, because I don't have a strong memory of it at all. And if I'm going to be totally honest, I mean, we're bigging up Frank and stuff, but this is, if I can speak frankly.
Yes. Jesus Christ. I'm going to point out to listeners that we are recording this very late at night. I was held back at work for several hours, so while John was expecting to record, he's probably started recording about 3 hours later than expected, and you've just been drinking whiskey since then, haven't you?
Yes.
Which is exactly what I would do if you were suddenly late.
But drinking since 7:30, so it might get a little bit weird.
Nice.
But yeah, what was I saying?
I don't know, what were you saying?
Fucking no idea.
It's going to be one of those ones. Well, should we just? Oh
no, sorry. I was going to say, I find it, even though I love it, it's one of his lesser films.
Oh,
so what I'm going to say is, if you're into Frank, if you have no idea who he is, I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't start with his film.
No, you'd come to it a little bit later. I mean, it'd be a wild point of entry, though. You'd probably be quite confused.
I mean, especially if you watch his other stuff, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I
mean, the humour is there, but this is very much a pure horror comedy.
Yeah. I mean, I would say probably people's best bet is to go straight for the first Basket Case film and Brain Damage.
Yeah, I'd go straight to Brain Damage if I was anyone.
Yeah.
What film?
I'm sensing that maybe we'll get onto that next then.
It's a possibility, but then again, bad biology.
Bad biology, I know. It's a toss-up, isn't it?
It is one of the weirdest films in the world.
God, it is fucking unbelievably weird. Jesus. So yeah, neither of us had that much of an experience of it in the past, and this is actually the second time I've watched it recently. I say recently. It's probably been some years. In fact, I probably have a record of when I last watched it. Let's have a look and see.
Have you got your letterboxed thingamajigger?
I do. So I watched it on Friday, the 22nd of June, 2012.
Right. That's going to be this Blu Ray then, obviously.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah. And then I watched it again this week, in fact.
Okay, but that's still a big gap.
It's a big gap. 7 years between it.
It's a fair old gap.
It's a fair gap. Showing my age a little bit there. It's a roller coaster ride. I mean, you're going to have to. What I will say. So we get into the nuts and bolts of. Oh God!
Oh, there you go. You've done it as well. I'm sorry.
Jesus
I've infected your brain. I'm sorry.
God, I do apologise, listeners. Yes. What is your take on the film? I thoroughly enjoyed watching it again. It is utterly ridiculous.
It's
utterly daft. It's totally bonkers. I mean, so ridiculous or something. There's no part of it is remotely realistic in any way, including most of the effects and stuff.
Yeah, the effect was interesting actually. Obviously, the effects chat kind of happens on some of the extras, but you know, the guy who did the effects, I've forgotten the name of it already.
Jimmy Gibbets?
Gabe.
Dan Fry?
Gabe Bartolos.
All right, Gabe Bartolos.
Good looking guy. Like,
is he?
Yeah, heavy set guy, nice looking guy.
All right.
So he went into it, and there's the big what the fuck scene is. Exploding hookers essentially. So he was expecting, like, you want lots of blood and stuff like that. Like, no, don't want any blood, because apparently the MPA were already on their backs whilst they were shooting it.
Right.
So they were like, no, we can't have any blood in it. It's just got to be okay. So what about like sort of residue of some description? Like, no, that's nothing at all. This scene is so far out that it's going to get ripped to shit. We need to just we just want them exploding, like in a firework display. And so he was like, what? So it's very odd. I mean, how do we get up to this point? This is very much the segue in the film. Okay, basically what we start with.
So the films. I would say the film's in two pretty clear parts, like the pre Frankenhooker, and then post Frankenhooker once she's been created. So it does
involve an extraordinary starter film. Remote controlled lawnmower death. Remote
control lawnmower death, and the very attractive lead star who was a Penthouse playmate, I think
she was.
Wearing somewhat offensively a fat suit.
Yeah, that's actually. Well, I'll get into that later. But yes, it's like, right, okay. I think it was to make it believable that she'd be going out with this.
Yeah,
this guy. But to be honest, I think she looks a bit better in the fat suit. To be honest,
she's lovely. Yeah. I mean, when you see her later on, she's purple with she's got purple hair and her face painted white.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and scars all over her.
Yeah. Okay.
So she is engaged to the actor James Lawrence in the film, who we've already covered in a previous film. He was in Street Trash.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
Another link.
He plays Jeffrey Franken, and she plays Elizabeth Shelley. So yeah, getting the names ticked off there. He kills her. Well, he doesn't kill her. She dies in a freak accident with his invention of a remote controlled lawnmower. Yeah. He is also.
He's dad's like a birthday present or something. Your dad, he's your birthday present, a remote controlled lawnmower.
I'd quite like a remote controlled lawnmower.
Yeah, sure you would.
He is by day an electricity engineer, and in his spare time he is a inventor and medical genius.
Yep.
Yeah, who keeps a giant brain with one single roving eye,
which draws no attention from anyone at all. His mum. It's like, oh, what are you doing? There's a brain in a jar with a single eye. Someone stop this. Not a hint of it. Not one hint of that happening.
Totally bonkers. So he kills his girlfriend, keeps her head in a deep freeze,
as you would.
Oh no, in liquid that he keeps her alive with, and then sets out on his mission to create a body for her. So many little strokes of genius in this film, though, isn't there? Like, when he wants inspiration, when he wants to get a brainwave, he drills into his head.
His own head,
His own head with a power drill.
Yeah. Which actually has no blood in it, weirdly enough.
No, there's no blood at all. No. He seems to already have holes pre-drilled in his head or something like that, because he's got a little map of them and where he wants to drill.
Yeah.
He finds out there's going to be a massive storm coming, and he has to get all the body parts together to create the body when he's got enough voltage to actually bring her back to life again. So he sets
goes
out
cruising for hookers.
cruising for hookers, and it's some quite wild. I mean, this is one of the things about the film, that it's obviously really low budget and it's got very few locations, but it's extreme. I was talking about this. It was interesting because we'll be recording it later. Talking about another film that we just watched that is incredibly sparse.
Yes,
incredibly sparse.
Yeah,
it's almost like a world that's unpopulated. It's the exact opposite with Frankenhooker, and a low budget film that everywhere is just like he's got so much value for money in it.
yeah.
The bar, the strip club scene and everything, there's people everywhere. Do you know what I mean? It feels occupied, it feels busy. The birthday party at the start's got loads of people about. When he's driving about in New York, there's loads of people kicking about. Most of them are hookers, right enough, but he just does a really, really good job, Henenlotter, of making the most out of a sort of low budget and scant.
Just making the most out of the environment, I think. It's
yeah, totally. No, it's great. It's really nice to see. It's really, really well, really heavily designed as well. There's lots of bits and bobs and knickknacks and sort of trinkets and stuff everywhere in the set design. It's great. But yeah, he goes off, hires loads of hookers, and it's never fully explained, but he invents super crack.
Yes, it's he thinks he's going to get all the hookers. Yeah, it is slightly unusual and odd and not particularly explained. It's like, well, if they like crack, wait till they get hold of this. It's like, but what?
But super crack makes you explode.
Yes, that's the crux of it. Yeah,
yeah. So he throws a party. There's quite a bizarre pimp as well, Zorro.
Bizarre pimp, a heavily muscled pimp.
Heavily muscled pimp,
as you'd expect.
Kind of like bodybuilder style 80s.
Oh, yeah, pure like muscle vest, the whole hair, the whole gamut.
And Zorro sort of seems to operate out of the back bathroom of a strip joint, which is somewhat bizarre. Like a bathroom that seems to be, in a very modern way, seems to be unisex, because there's people shagging and stuff all over the place.
Yes, shagging, taking coke, blah blah blah,
yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah, smoking crack. And yeah, I mean, he goes in, wants to throw a party, so gets loads of hookers together.
It's about what, six or seven
hookers.
It's a fair whack.
Measures them all up. Has a party with them.
Yeah,
there's a lot of boobs.
There is a hell of a boobs.
There's no way around it. I know we live in the Me Too environment these days, but there's no way around it. There's a lot of boobs in this film, but weirdly, in an utterly inoffensive way.
Inoffensive and completely non-sexual.
Yes, totally.
Bizarre.
They're only there for him to size up for adding to his dead girlfriend's head.
Exactly. I mean, for a man that gets erect just because it's 6 a.m. in the morning, I did not have any erection during this film at all.
It's bizarre. Quite a fun sequence later on as well, when he's got a silver tray full of boobs. Yeah, I think you'd find it hard to take offence at this film in any way at all.
Oh, it's very silly. Let's be honest.
It's very, very daft, very daft. So then he gets all the parts together, manages to get his girlfriend resurrected, and when she comes to life again, somewhat hilariously, she has the sort of consciousness of not only herself but all of the hookers.
Yeah, it's really good.
So,
it's really good.
And she also seems to be very, very strong.
Yes.
So she just tries to go back. She jumps in the subway, heads back into New York to head back to the streets that she used to hang out on when she was one of the various hookers, and carnage ensues, I guess.
Absolutely, and it's beautiful carnage, and it
is. Oh God! So, and I mean, I know that Patty Mullen, who plays Elizabeth Shelley's his girlfriend, and the Frankenhooker of the title, wasn't an actress, but she does a brilliant job when she comes back. As
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. It is a star turn. It really is.
Absolutely amazing.
I mean,
want a date? Want a date?
She's so funny, and the expressions on the face are just like
the twitchy mouth.
Man, absolutely
brilliant.
She absolutely nails it. I think Frank Henenlotter told her kind of what to do. I think he had a few people in line to play the part, and he said, "I kind of want you to do this." And the first face she pulled, he was like, that's the one. That's it, we're done. That's it, we're done. We're done casting. Let's get out of here.
We're doing it. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, she's absolutely fantastic in it. She really is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like she really is the linchpin of the film. It's just, honestly, it makes you feel good watching her. It's just, for some reason, it's just like, this is making me feel fun. And she really pulls the fun part of the element out, and it's absolutely tremendous. And I just couldn't recommend it enough.
Yeah. Oh no, it's fantastic. And the end. We're not going to give away the ending, are we?
I think.
No, we're going to spoil it. But yeah, it gets.
Although,
even
got to
more...
be honest, what I noticed today is the the Arrow Blu Ray artwork gives away the ending.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I need to check that out. Oh my god.
If I can try and get that up without any.
Any light?
Tell you what, I'll have to get out the old box there.
Take out the old box so I can see it there then. Let's see what's going on. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. There you go. Totally gives it away.
Holy shit.
Shit.
Well, depends if we have the artwork turned round, but this way turned round, it definitely gives it away.
It gets utterly bonkers. In the end, it really does. The end is just absolute madness.
It is. I would love to tell you about it, but it's holy. It's. I mean, one of the things I like Frank Henenlotter is he's really he's kind of like, for me, a grindhouse version of David Cronenberg.
Yes.
So you're going to see lots of weird body shit going on, like bizarre body shit that Mr. Cronenberg would probably run a mile at. But
totally.
That final scene is just like wow, holy McFuck. Frank Henenlotter really. I think that's why I like him quite a lot, because I quite enjoy that kind of strangeness of bodies changing again. Like all these films have it. It's not done in a Cronenberg style. It's done very much in a almost more severe in a way, a lot of it. I mean, the films are funny, but at the same time they are fucking pretty horrifying.
Yeah, totally. I mean, a lot of the if this was done in a sort of realistically graphic way,
that'd be terrible.
It would be absolutely horrendous, wouldn't it? Absolutely horrendous.
Just
horrendous.
Like totally unwatchable.
But it is absolutely it's brilliant. It's really funny. It zips along. I mean, it's a short film. What, 80 minutes or something?
Very short. Yeah,
super short. 85 minutes.
It feels even shorter.
It does,
because it just like fucking hammers from bit to bit, and it's incredible. It feels, man. It feels like barely an hour has passed by the time you get to the end of this film.
Yeah. What was it shot on? Was it shot on 16mm? It must have been shot on 16mm, was it?
That I have not checked. I think it was shot on, from memory, something.
It was brilliant. It was shot on something. I love it. I absolutely love it. That is brilliant. Genius. And it's got quite a wild soundtrack as well.
It does. As most Henenlotter films do. They're all quite fairly mental.
Yeah, quite out there. But yeah, loads of fun. Absolutely loads of fun. And definitely highly recommended for me. It's, like we said though, like if you're going to duck into a bit of a Henenlotter, then you really should start elsewhere, but make sure you get around to this because it is an absolute winner.
It is. I mean, I think if you watch
If
this
you like
first,
really daft horror, then
yeah. Oh, absolutely, and it's the effects are really cool as well. And honestly, as you say, Patty Mullen is just, when she actually becomes Frankenhooker, is just amazing in the role.
Totally.
I mean, I'm just like, wow. Every time she comes into the room, you're just like, yeah, she's totally nailing this. And it's so bizarre. Looking at the extras, what we'll get to, I mean, she's such a gentle creature. It's absolutely insane.
Well, I'm seeing here it was actually shot on 35mm.
Oh, really? Fuck me with the stick.
There you go. Holy shit.
That's probably why it cost as much as it did.
Yeah, no doubt. Shit, yeah.
Because I think this was like shot back to back with was it
Basket Case 2?
2? Yep.
Yeah.
I think
which I think was part of the deal, wasn't it?
it was, yeah. And so
I've never seen Basket Case 2.
I have. Well, I've got the trilogy there. I've kind of watched them.
I've got the trilogy, but I've not seen it.
But yeah, it was almost sad listening to Frank talk about it because he doesn't have good memories of the film at all.
Oh, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was watching the documentary at yours. You're probably too adult beside her or whatever. But
oh no, that's right. No, I do remember that. Yeah.
And the DOP just hated him.
Yeah,
like,
but he really enjoyed making Basket Case 2.
Yeah, well, I think another DOP came out at the end of the film, and they actually enjoyed making the rest of it. But it's just sad to see such a joyously mad thing tinged by a bit of like, I don't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But hey,
yeah. Well, I still think we got something great in the end. So yeah,
absolutely. Well, Frank always wins through. Let's be honest.
Oh, he does. He's a wee legend, isn't he? A wee legend. Brilliant. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't think we've probably got much more to talk about in terms of the actual film, do we?
Not really. I mean, it's one of those films you need to check out. End of story.
I mean, it's just. I mean, it's really suitable for any time, really, though, isn't it? Like, get a couple of mates around, a couple of beers, watch it yourself, a couple of beers. Just make sure you've got a couple of beers.
That's the absolute minimum you need is a few beers, and you'll be absolutely ready to rock.
Yeah, totally, brilliant. And so I'm going to go ahead and give it. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. Or hold on a second.
Pregnant pause for me. Sorry.
I'm maybe going to give it 1 thumb up and 1 thumb across.
You know what? That's difficult because I know his.
You don't want to rate it as highly as everything else in his.
Oh no, fuck it. At the end of the day, it's 2 thumbs up. It's a fucking cracking little film. Let's be honest. Let's not put it up against the other films. Let's come into it blind.
Yeah.
If you came into it blind, and you're as much of a fan of bullshit as we are.
Yeah,
it's going to be 2 thumbs.
Oh, it's great. I mean, like just a genuinely funny, like low budget riff on the Frankenstein theme. That's just like a total hoot from start to finish. And it's so short that also it doesn't have any time to sag anywhere in the film. There's like genuinely no moment of sagging in it.
It just keeps coming. It just keeps coming.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. No, there's no messing around. It is absolutely super efficient, comedy, exploitation, horror filmation. Brilliant.
I'm going to give it the 2
thumbs up. Both from both of us. That's a definite recommendation.
One of these days, are we going to find a film we don't like?
I don't know. Will we?
Surely at some point. I suppose one of our side missions we're bound to.
Yeah, we're bound to a side mission. But also maybe we'll on something that because we should really we're going to try and start picking things that neither of us have seen, I guess, haven't we, as well?
Yeah.
We keep ending up on classics because we're just enjoying watching loads of the classics that we like enjoy watching. So yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I think we should pick stuff. Yeah, we will. Oh, we've done it once, I think, with Raw.
That's true.
Unfortunately, that was 2 thumbs up as well. So
2 thumbs up from both of us as well. I know, brilliant. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. Right, shall we move on and discuss the disc?
Do it.
Woo, Blue! It's the Blu Ray reviews, yeah. Blue! It's the Blu Ray reviews, yeah. Blue! It's the Blu Ray reviews, yeah. Blue! It's the Blu Ray review.
So yeah, both of us have watched Frankenhooker on the Arrow Films Blu Ray, which, as John was saying earlier, was released in 2011.
That's quite scary, man.
Fucking hell. That is quite scary.
Totally.
I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like it.
I know what you mean. I feel disturbed by it as well.
Jesus. I actually have 2 copies of it on Blu-ray.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Explain.
I have the Dutch Blu-ray as well.
Why?
I've got the Dutch Blu-ray because Sam bought it for me.
Okay.
I don't think he'd ever heard of it. He stumbled across it and was like, a film called Frankenhooker. Chris would fucking love that. Yeah. So he just sent it my way. Yeah. And I haven't actually had a chance to check it out. I'm sure that most of these will all be the same print.
Yeah, totally.
There are, but I mean, I think that certainly the UK release, it's had a special edition in the States as well. It was released by Synapse in the States with a different set of extras, I think. I mean, the one in the UK, the Arrow Films version, is just brilliant. It says it was a limited edition. I don't think it was a limited edition, was it?
Well, it's got to be one of the last. If you're a fee with Arrow, got to be one of the last slipcases, I would guess.
The window slipcase ones that we did.
Yeah, which we both have. And because they did away with them.
Yeah.
So limited to God knows what. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's no number on it, so yeah, we'll take that with a pinch of salt. I think is probably the best way of putting things.
Yeah.
Saying that, you won't get if you're in the UK, you will not get the slip print anymore. If you want to buy this film, you'll
get the standard edition.
Yeah, which is fine because it's exactly the same inside.
Which probably means, well, I wonder if you still get the poster and the booklet.
No, well, I doubt you get the poster because the poster's one of those things that they used to kind of do. They were quite keen on doing that shit.
Yeah.
So I reckon you might get a booklet, but you'll get no slipcase, and you'll just get the disc with its, I presume, with its reversible sleeve if you're that way inclined. Yeah.
And it's, I think, straight off saying that it's a brilliant package. Absolutely brilliant package.
It's good.
For a film
it is
this.
really good.
It is a really good package.
Yeah.
I have, did you listen to the commentary at all, the audio commentary?
I didn't, to be honest, but I would love to. As
I would as well, yeah.
Because I would have taken an extra 80 minutes this evening. So, but having, I was like, Frank Henenlotter was at, I think we've mentioned the Dead by Dawn Festival a few times before. So the special guest one year was Frank Henenlotter, and I was so erect for that, it was untrue. So yeah, and he's great because he's lived through the Grindhouse stuff, and he's got this amazing little insight into that world of all these fucking strange films, most of which he's made. And yeah, I've not even listened to the commentary, but I'm going to tell you now, I'd recommend you to.
I'm actually going to, I mean, it's so short as well, the film, that I think that I'm going to have to give it a wee listen.
Oh, you should.
Probably with a couple of beers as well.
Yeah, totally.
And the other night we watched, it's got like quite a funny little intro as well.
It does. Yeah.
With they're quite often just nonsense, and this one is absolute nonsense. It's usually quite a heartfelt thing with someone saying something serious about the film. Thank you for watching our film. It's actually just Henenlotter and James Lawrence arsing around. I would say so. There's a lot of extras on here, and they're all quite meaty actually.
And it is.
I would say that definitely the star attraction here is the documentary by Callum Waddell.
Yep, totally.
Your Dates on a Plate, The Making of Frankenhooker, which is actually weighs in at like about 40 minutes or something like that.
It's good, man. It's good. And
it's brilliant.
And
it's brilliant.
Never overstays its welcome. You're like, oh, could we get an extra 10 minutes of this, please? It'd be quite cool.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, great. Completely sort of takes in everything about the making of the film from start to finish, and has just some really brilliant interviews in it, and it's just really lovely little film that's well shot,
well produced. Yeah, totally, really well produced. It's it's because a lot of the other earlier Arrow stuff I've had kind of problems with, which was made again by Callum Waddle and stuff, but he's nailed it here. This is great, absolutely.
Great. It is absolutely brilliant. Yep. I didn't. We watched that with a few beers.
We did.
For a week.
Wow.
Which was great. Well, more than a few beers. Yeah. And what have you dug into other ones? The only other one that I've watched was
watched all of them.
The only one I watched was a salad that was once named Elizabeth. Patty Mullen remembers Frankenhooker, which is brilliant. She's
the sweetest interview
she is
in
very
the world.
sweet, isn't she?
I'm going to be honest, man. She might be the nicest human being in the world.
Yeah, she seems that way, doesn't she? Although she's moved to Florida, which is probably quite bad news.
I'm sure it'll be fine in the end, but
yeah.
But the interview's quite odd. It's like she's it's she's sort of many words to say, but they're all very positive.
Yeah,
and I just fell in love with her, looking at her. I just did. It's like, what a lovely human being. She's complete positivity.
Yeah, totally.
And and then getting on to another extra is the effects guy.
Yeah.
Who we mentioned earlier. And he's talking about Patty Mullins, and he's just like, wow, she's absolutely amazing. Just went through all the makeup process, not one single complaint. Just absolutely rocked it, and he's like in love with her, I think, basically. And Patty Mullen's talking about she went out with a few drinks for him after the production.
Yeah.
I was like, but never turned into anything.
Oh God, I bet he was gutted about that.
Yeah, totally. But he'd be. I'm going to be honest. Looking at him, he'd be punching. Let's be honest.
Oh, would he?
Well above his weight.
Oh.
And he's a weighty guy.
Well below his weight. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But and like just the question like, what are you doing these days? And like, I've got 2 kids. And like, I bet they're the luckiest kids in the world. She's just like so unbelievably sweet and amazing.
Yeah,
it's lovely to watch, but it's a very, very old interview. Cause I
think it's from
or something.
I think it's from the Synapse release.
Right.
I think it was probably done for a DVD release.
Right.
Originally, and then was on the Synapse, because the other extras, all the older ones that are from 2006, are from the Synapse release, and are being ported over to the Arrow release, which is great. It's good,
It's definitely a very old one. I don't know God knows where it came from, because it's like 4:3 and shot on video, so God knows. But look at the back of the box now. I really enjoyed the tour around the special effects guys' lab. That was really cool. So it's just a guy gets Callum Waddle, just basically a video camera, just like following the guy around, what he's done beforehand, what he's thinking about doing, and I think obviously we're talking about the he did Friday the 13th Part 6, so he's got the masks there in his house.
Nice.
Well, it looks like his house, but I guess it's an office of some description. But yeah, it's really, really good. I really love it, and I love the fact that Callum Waddle speaks sparsely throughout it, but he's just like, oh, this is amazing.
Oh, brilliant. I'm going to have to give that a watch, actually.
Just absolute pure fanboy, and and I don't know how many people are aware of Callum Waddle, because he had a...
I don't know. Well, he's a fellow Scot, and
he is,
sort of contemporary. I guess age-wise, there's a contemporary of ours. Yeah. Actually, I think his partner was at school with us.
Yes.
Which is great, Naomi. And they together make loads of amazing features.
So I think they're working a lot for 88 films at the moment.
88 films, brilliant.
And but
brilliant.
I think it was
what dream job though, eh?
Totally.
Just making
I guess it'll be there won't be much cash now, I guess, but But who
Oh,
cares?
talk about job satisfaction,
cares?
man. You get to go and meet all the legends, all the
Yeah,
all the
and you know
folk
what I
team.
really respect about Callum Model recently is there's lots of people giving him shit about the Arrow stuff. I think he felt quite aggrieved about how he'd been treated at Arrow.
Yeah,
And he was quite vocal about it, which didn't really help him, to be honest.
with the horror crowd, the
Yeah,
fanboys.
yeah, the
Who
fanboys.
are- yeah,
But it just looks like he's now just like, fuck it, that conversation is done. And
Good.
he's moving on, and he's like, I'm seeing he's just positive now, as opposed
That's
to
good.
being negative. And it's like,
Good.
great. I hope he continues to go on and make cracking shit like this, and just forget what we don't care what happened to Arrow. Callum, just get on there, kick the shit out of the place, and start and just
totally.
keep making great stuff like that.
Yeah, brilliant. Thoroughly recommend the stuff. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what's coming up on their work with the 88 films as well. Absolutely fantastic, and he's a big fan of all the stuff that we're fans of.
Yeah,
which is,
totally.
You know, which is great. Just anytime I'm just always jealous of all the people he's always met. You know, he's always off like gallivanting off to meet some sort of cannibal film director or
I think
special effects whiz or something.
I think
do you
I'd
know what I mean?
freeze up.
I think I would as well. I don't know what I would do.
Like extra props to the guy. He just like he can actually get an interview where I was just like, hello.
It's, yeah, and always has great questions and sort of great insight. It's not the same old stuff churned out again. You know, the sort of same questions that they must be getting all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's brilliant. Absolutely
No,
brilliant.
full props to the guy. I like the way he's like just put that Arrow shit to one side, and we'll never really figure out what actually happened. Who cares? Because Mr. Callum Model, keep producing content, sir. That's all I can tell you.
Absolutely, totally. Good on you. And so yeah, I mean that sort of rounds off. There's a few...
sorry. No, hang on. Wait. There's an amazing interview with, let me look at the back of the box. I've got to forget her name.
Jennifer
Jennifer
Delora.
Delora. Holy shit. I say it's an interview, but it's basically a monologue.
Right. Just her stream of consciousness.
Yeah, it's just like, but it's amazing. Like telling her she was like holding other actresses up against the wall by the throat, telling them to do their job. A massive dislike of the main actor. It was just like, seriously, I'm going to be honest, it's worth the money alone. It's fucking
Brilliant.
incredible, absolutely incredible, and shot not recently, but like maybe 10 years ago. So it's like widescreen. It's all good.
Excellent.
But that was actually my favourite extra. It was like, wow, this girl can talk and she doesn't give a fuck about anything.
Excellent. Brilliant. I need to check that one out as well. I'm going to
Do
go back and actually get into
need-
these. Yeah,
I
definitely.
get right into that one as soon as you can. It's grand.
Excellent. Will do. Excellent. And sound wise, it's a very basic mix on there. I think it's just a mono soundtrack, but I had no problems with it at all. On through my surround sound system, it was all good. Sounded fine to me. And yeah, I mean, who knows how good this film has ever looked, but it looked perfectly fine to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It won't look any better, let's be honest.
Exactly. Stepping up in resolution is not going to help it anymore. But yeah, no, thoroughly recommended. So you go and get your hands on the Arrow disc. Highly recommended by both of us.
Absolutely. Boom.
Cool. Boom. Oofed. And moving on to our final section.
Oh, second final section.
Second final section.
It's going to be very short.
It's going to be very, very short indeed. Our BBFC watch.
James Furman was the director of the British Board of Film Classification from 1975 to 1999. And we ask ourselves, what would James Furman do? What would James Furman do? What would James Furman say? We ask, what would James Furman do? Tell us, James, what would you say?
Yep.
What would James Furman think? We know exactly what James Furman thought. This film has never been cut in the UK.
It hasn't.
Somewhat surprisingly, I would say. But the big difference is that it has been an 18 in the past.
Yeah, and that's a 15.
And it is now a 15.
It was never cut in the UK, but it was cut in the US.
Now, this is interesting because there is one release from the year 2000, which was a 15, and then the next release, when Optimum put it out in 2004, was an 18.
Yeah.
But they have different running times. I think the Synergy video release from 2000 was actually the US cut version.
Yeah, what we got was the US R-rated version.
Right, yeah.
Which was... Yeah, that, like, you'll not be surprised where many of the cuts happen.
Boobs?
Mostly boobs and exploding ladies.
Oh, God. Do you know what I've just noticed, actually, when I'm looking at the BBFC website? Bad Biology did get released in the UK. It has been certified over here. It's just not come out on Blu Ray.
No, it's only on DVD.
Yeah, I need to get a Blu Ray.
Yeah, I've got the Blu Ray sitting there. Talking about Bad Biology, as Frank Henenlotter was in a screening of Bad Biology in the UK, and there was a BBFC guy there, and he said, "I'd love to know your opinion after the film, unofficially, of course." I said, "How much trouble are we in?" And then the BBFC guy said, "Oh, Frank, you're not in any trouble at all. This is hilarious and harmless." Then he said, "But if this is 20 years ago, we would have had you arrested."
Do you know, it's true. It's amazing how much things have changed over here. It really
Absolutely
is amazing.
mental.
Totally.
Absolutely mental.
Brilliant.
Crazy.
Absolutely brilliant. Last section. We're into the last section, and you always know the name of it. I always forget it.
It's called Love It or List It.
Love it or list it.
What are you gonna do? Not that we've actually bought it for the podcast. It's a bit different.
No, both of us owned it already. But both of us have been going through selling sprees recently.
Yep.
And I'm going to get straight in there. I'm going to say I'm going to love it. I'm not selling this.
A box that contains a poster like that.
Yeah, how can you do that? It's impossible, isn't it?
That says, "To John, Frankenhooker loves you." Frank Henenlotter.
God, look at you smug bastard. Rub it in, why don't you? That's beautiful. It's bringing a tear to my eye. Bringing a tear to my eye.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, the guy is a fucking legend. I wouldn't sell any of his films if someone paid me. I'm going to top out at 78 quid.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to sell it as well. I'll tell you what I will do, though.
Yeah.
If anyone wants a copy, they can email us
Oh, yeah.
at
Oh.
Horror Meltdown
Pod
Pod
at
gmail.com. Yeah, Horror Meltdown Pod at gmail.com. If anyone wants a copy of Frankenhooker, they can email us,
Yep.
and I will randomly pick someone and send the spare copy I have to them.
What are you going to put on it?
What am I going to put on what? On
Are you going to jizz in it?
I'm going to sign it with jizz.
With jizz?
Yeah.
Well, that's ruined that. And
Yeah. So I'll wait for no emails to come in at all.
if anyone wants Cammy's jizz, horrorpodmeltdown at gmail.com is the place
Horror
to...
Meltdown Pod, not Horror Pod Meltdown.
Isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I didn't even know how to check the email. If anyone manages to get John or I to read an email at that email address, or any email address that they think it's for this podcast, then they deserve to get a Blu-ray, and I'll send them a Blu-ray.
Alternatively, you can text Cammy at 0779.
So both of us, neither of us are gonna listen.
No,
We're
why
both
would you?
gonna
It's fucking
love it.
Henenlotter. Why would you?
It's amazing. Well, talking about Henenlotter, I think it's time to bring this episode to a close, and we're going to do it, aren't we? The next one in the chain. The next one in the chain has to be Henenlotter.
It does. But what are we going to do?
It's controversial. I suggested it before we came on air. We've got two choices that we really want to do.
Yeah.
Why don't we do a double bill? Why don't we do Brain Damage and Bad Biology in a double bill?
You're talking in the same episode, though.
In the same episode, we talk about them at the same time.
Can I just point out to you how confused we are now?
It's utterly confusing, and we're making it up as we go along.
Fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, I think our listeners won't be surprised if they tune in and we've completely ignored that and we only do one film. But let's say that we're going to do two, and that's what we'll go for.
Perfect. Well, let the clusterfuck begin.
Happy days. All right, so there you have it here. So we're moving on from Frank Henenlotter's Frankenhooker to Frank Henenlotter's Brain Damage and Bad Biology.
Or
so
neither or both.
Who knows?
Or one
Let's
or
see what
two.
happens.
Who knows?
We're making it up as we go along. Right, okay, guys. Thanks a lot for listening. Do feel free to get in touch with us at horrormeltdownpod@gmail.com.
Or the Captain's Horror Meltdown is a Facebook page with a really natty bit of artwork.
Yes,
Stevie.
get along there. Or you can tweet us as well. Right, I'm going to work out the social media stuff for the next time, I promise, right? God, 20 odd episodes in or whatever, and I still don't know what the hell's going on. Right, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for listening. From me, Cammy, and from John, the ship's pharmacist, who's high on his own supply. Cheers, folks. Bye.
Cheerio, bye. Cunt.